إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونسترضيه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد، يحيي ويميت وهو حي لا يموت، بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، صلوات ربي وتسليمه عليك يا سيدي يا حبيبي يا رسول الله. قال فيه حسان رضي الله عنه: وأجمل منك لم تر قط عين، وأحسن منك لم تلد النساء، خلقت مبرأ من كل عيب، كأنك قد خلقت كما تشاء. وعندما وصف الله تعالى القمر في كتابه الكريم قال قمرا منيرا، وعندما وصف الشمس قال سراجا وهاجا، وعندما وصف محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم قال وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا، فجمع له الجمال والجلال والنور والضياء، صلوات ربي وتسليمه عليك يا سيدي يا حبيبي يا رسول الله. ثم أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث وأصدق الكلام كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها. ثم أما بعد، يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ثم أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, topic today is the current affairs, what's going around. And the most important two events for the past few days and coming few days are the shooting in Pittsburgh and the elections coming soon. We have few minutes with the shooting, we have the rest of the khutbah with the elections, because Islam, as we understand it, has a say in everything. And Allah gave us guidance, even if there is no guidance, if there is no criteria, if it's all dark, yet you find in Quran and Sunnah what to do and how to do it. Let me start with that. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, sitting with his companions, a funeral passes. Rasulullah stands up for the funeral. The companion said, Ya Rasulullah, it's for a Jew. In other words, it's for a disbeliever. It's for someone who does not believe in you or in Allah. He doesn't follow you. He or she. And Rasulullah just answered with one very simple two-word question. He said, أَلَيْسَتْ نَفْسًا? Isn't it a soul? أَلَيْسَتْ نَفْسًا? Isn't it a soul? Every soul is sacred. Every soul is created from a breath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every soul has an inherited right to live. Regardless. Just regardless anything. That's why that shooting that took place in Pittsburgh, the Jewish temple, last Saturday, is seen by every Muslim as the worst of crime, hate crime. is a hate crime. And what makes it worse, it's in a place, in a house of worship. Houses of worship in Islam are to be safe even in wartime. Even in real wartime are to be safe, let alone in peacetime. That's why my hearts, our hearts, go to the families of the victims of this temple. And the same goes with the 2 African Americans who were slain in Kentucky. Store, another hate crime, even though they don't call it hate crime there, they have another law system. But it is a hate crime because it's based on racial differences. What happened to the 2 African Americans? And they were not Muslims, but they are souls. And the same goes to every soul. A Muslim, a typical Muslim, is not just concerned by himself or his close family, is concerned by humanity. And from that, we're against any crime against humanity, whether the doer is a believer or not, whether the doer is a criminal or even a state. A soul is sacred and has every right to live. In Surah Al-An'am, ayah 151, ulama call this ayah the ayah of the 10 commandments, because it has 10 commandments and it ended with ذَلِكُمْ وَصَّاكُمْ بِهِ. That's what Allah has commanded you. And in the middle of them, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. And it's very important also from my side as an imam to call upon some media, some news, some media coverage which also are not fair. If the doer was a Muslim or an immigrant or an African American, we would have different coverage. I'm just saying, we as Muslims never link the criminal to what he or she claims to be following as a faith. A crime is a crime and nothing to justify it. And I hope one day media will be always fair when they cover these events or these sad accidents. The other issue, dear brothers and sisters, is the elections coming soon. And you go ask Muslim scholars, can we vote or can't we? Should we vote or shouldn't we? Can we run for an office or shouldn't we? It's not a Muslim system. That system is actually praising some stuff that's against our Muslim values. Should we or shouldn't we? And you will have a spectrum of answers, from forbidden to fard. Some will say you must not, and some will say you must, and all the shades in between. And today, my khutbah is about we should. We should go and vote. And let's understand our Islam a little as a universal message from Quran and Sunnah. Whatever we say on the member of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam is taken from Quran and Sunnah. Some stuff you can debate, but it doesn't make it wrong. It makes it debatable, which makes everybody free to follow what he or she thinks is right. Muslims engaged in politics from day one. Muslims in Mecca persecuted. The Quran comes down, غُلِبَتِ الرُّومُ فِي أَدْنَى الْأَرْضِ وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ. Romans have been defeated, and in a while, why Muslims should worry about this international politics? The Romans and Persians, and they are not able to pray next to Kaaba yet. And why should they feel happy with the Romans? Romans are Christian. Still, they didn't believe in Muhammad. Persians are Armenians. They are like pagan. They worship fire. Not believers. Why should they feel happy for the Romans? Why should they anticipate and every day ask travelers, what's up? Have you heard any news? It took years. They follow it. Why? Simply because Christians were closer to Muslims. Worshippers of fires were closer to pagan Meccans. So for them, it's at least people of the book, victorious. It wouldn't make them Muslims. It wouldn't make them apply Islam. Yet Muslims are happy for them. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was engaged in social justice and all kinds of justice issues when he in Mecca persecuted. When Rasulullah ﷺ, his followers are persecuted around and he's only supported by his uncles, and somebody comes to him and say, Ya Muhammad, not a believer, Abu al-Hakam means Abu Jahl, oppressed me with my wages. And he doesn't know the Prophet, he doesn't know, but people wanted to mock the Prophet ﷺ. Said, you know what, the only one who can get you right, this man there. They wanted to mock the Prophet because how come the Prophet in this time goes to Abu Jahl and say, give the man? The Prophet could have said, I cannot. No one would have blamed him. The Prophet could have said, you know, Islamophobia is really on the rise in Mecca right now. Give me a chance, give me a break. He could have said, we're few, we're persecuted. But the Prophet ﷺ, the way he acted, it's the way we Arabs say, Ana laha, I am your man, I am the one. And he goes, he knocks Abu Jahl's house. Say, give the man his money. In this language, sallallahu ala Muhammad. And Abu Jahl did, and later when they asked him, his companion, the Abu Jahl's friends, close friends, what made you do that? It's a story we can come to another time, but Rasulullah stood up for that. Not only this, Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam in Mecca, now persecuted. In Medina, Quraysh are the enemy, the oppressors, the one who occupying Al-Kaaba and not allowing Muslims to go, the one who are making everybody, intimidating everybody think about Islam. Yet, they had something before Islam called Hilf al-Fudul, Al-Fudul Alliance. In that alliance, few Meccans, that's before Islam, 5 or 6 of them, leaders, strong people, they stood up together, they said, we will make an alliance and we will defend every oppressed person in our city. And no one to be treated unjustly in our town. And Rasulullah was proud, saying, I was a young man with my cousins witnessing that alliance being formed. Rasulullah in Medina, he says, if Quraysh invited me to join them in Hilf al-Fudul, that alliance, I will. Does he joining them make them Muslims? No. Does he joining them stop them from worshipping idols? No. Yet, there is a good cause. And Rasulullah ﷺ is ready to go for it, whether it's with people who believe in him or people who are even enemies. That's how he engaged, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wa salam, just to think about how he's aware of the world politics. When he sent his most oppressed companions, he said, go to Abyssinia, go to Ethiopia. There is a Christian just king there. Rasulullah could have sent them to Egypt. They are Christians. To the Byzantine Empire. They are Christians. Or to anywhere else on earth. Why this Christian? What's different? Is it Catholic and Orthodox? No. It's just because he's just. A just king. You know what? Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam never met Al-Najashi, this king Negas, Al-Najashi. He never met him before. He never talked about him. He only heard from many people how just he is. And he knew that a man of this kind of ethics will live up for his ethics, even though he's an ally, a Najashi, of the Meccans. And they have a lot of trade, a lot of business. And we know the story. The Meccans sent all kinds of gifts to claim the tens of Muslims who came as refugees, and Najashi refused. Rasulullah knew that this man will stand up for his ethics and wouldn't negotiate for anything. And that's what happened. Now, the Muslims are minority there. The Muslims are minority, like us, but even less. Huge country, and they were less than the first three lines here. That's the Muslim community there. In a Christian country, ruled by a just king. And another group in this country, somebody wanted to overthrow Najashi, the Negastan, to take the kingdom, to be the king, and it was a war. Salama radiallahu anha says, we stayed all night praying that Allah gives victory to Najashi. Why? When Najashi is a Muslim, tomorrow the country will be Muslim? Tomorrow we'll say no more non-Islamic stuff? No. But it is a place where that king will ensure their civil rights. It's as simple as that. They wanted to live in peace, to live their Islam and to practice their Islam to the best of their ability. And the other one wouldn't, because he was clear in his call. He said, one of the things, I'm against these refugees. تقول Salama, we stayed the night praying to Allah, Allah gives. And it was the war on the other side of the Nile. They asked Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, Hawari Rasulillah, to swim and to go the other side and to watch. تقول Salama, when Zubayr came back, we were all waiting. And he started chanting from far, Allahu Akbar. So we know that Najashi, she said, we as Muslims didn't have a happier day other than the day of Badr. Yes, you heard it right. Day of Badr. The Muslims are in Medina now, and even victorious, and the minority are still living in Abyssinia. Yes, they lived in Abyssinia all through the Meccan time, and Badr, and Uhud, and Al-Ahzab, and Al-Hudaybiyah. They came after Khaybar. That's why Rasulullah عليه الصلاة والسلام, when they returned, قال لست أدري بما أفرح أكثر بفتح خيبر أم بعودة جعفر. His cousin Ja'far, when he came back with the group, when he came, they said 14 years. When just across from the sea is the Muslim land. But they ensured the civil rights there. Brothers and sisters, we are talking about how Muslims were engaged, were part all the time. But the question is, do we have a certain way in Islam to choose a leader? Do you have a certain way of elections? Or Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam did not teach us one way to go with. When he died alayhi salatu wasalam, all Muslims discussed it and they chose Abu Bakr. Why Abu Bakr appointed Umar. And after Umar, when they asked Umar to appoint anybody, he refused. And he died, radiallahu anhu. And then candidates, a team of 6. They were the candidates. And among them, they chose one, Uthman. And Abdul Rahman ibn Auf himself, he says, he took charge of knocking at every door in Medina. He said, I didn't leave one single woman, one single child, one single man, anywhere, unless they asked, what do you think about Uthman as a Khalifa? So there are different ways. But the bottom line is, majority to accept of this. Let's fast forward and come to us, Muslims in America. And the question we started with, should we or shouldn't we? First, I want to vote, hypothetically speaking. And only the options there are really bad. Islam taught us, Go for the lesser harm. Go for the lesser bad. Go for the lesser. This is a rule. Don't just stay aside, because staying aside is not doing us any good. So study the programs well, read them, talk to them, to the candidates, and make up your mind. That's number one. A brother can come to us say, this is a kafir system. And we cannot be part of this. And the answer is, you are part of that. Whether you like it or not, none of us is here against their own will. Everyone is here by choice. If you want to leave the country, you can. And if you think you're not part of the system, you are part of the system. You pay tax to the system. And you have rules to abide with. And you are part of the system. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, do you want your voice heard in that system or not? Sitting aside means you chose to be part of everything in the system except making difference in it. The question, can we make difference? And the answer is yes. We can make difference. In this city, in the greater Syracuse area, where assumed to be 20,000. What a huge number. You know that by Allah's choice, subhanallah, Muslims are majority in all swing states in America, which means they can make difference locally and nationally. It just went this way. I would like every one of you to go to read the story of the city council election in Irving, Texas. There was a lot of Islamophobia in there. 3 candidates for city council or city. Yes, 3 candidates. 2 of them are just pushing towards the rhetoric of hate Muslims. One of them said Muslims in Irving Mosque are bringing together or setting up a Sharia law court, and they were making people afraid. People don't even know what Sharia law is. Oh, Sharia law, it must be something scary. That's what they might think. A 3rd candidate was against that. Was a man who said, we are all citizens, we all have rights. His name was Alan Meager. On the results day, you can read the story. Wallahi, it's an amazing story, subhanAllah. Results day, Alan Meager got 50%. And he was to go to a runoff in June. He needed one single voice. One single voice he needed. Same day of elections, a disabled young man in his 20s, a Muslim. In his mind, I want to go to vote. Wallahi, it's a true story, and it's everywhere. He said, I want to go to vote. In his mind, he want to make people who go run their mouths about their civil rights, about their faith, about their rights as citizens in this country should be held accountable for anything they say. And he said, I will just do my part. He's disabled. His mother drove him. There in the ballot, they found that his ID is expired. So they secured his vote with something called provisional ballot, which means in 2 days you can come with a valid ID. The man went home, he thought he did his part. But in the news same night, Meagle needed one voice. So he got his ID next day, and his family drove him to court, and he secured his vote, and Meagle made it. And he said, that's what Meagle said. He said, I know that I passed by one vote, and I knew that it's a Muslim vote. That makes me happy. I want to meet this young man. It happens. Even though we as Muslims are never asked about results, but are asked about action, about moving. We can make difference. Don't make those who run for office give up on you. Back in the day, they used to visit us a lot in our mosque, present themselves with their ideas. in election day, give everybody in this town a message that Muslims care about elections and care about making their voices heard. So next time they want to run, they come to us first because we know we care. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم. الحمد لله وكفى وصلاة وسلاما على عباده الذين اصطفى وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Brothers and sisters, today we're talking about two current affairs: the shooting in Pittsburgh and the coming elections. A Muslim, dear brothers and sisters, is such a great, wonderful creature of Allah who wakes up in the morning like everyone else, but in his mind, he's concerned about all humanity issues. That's why Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, when he says, Wallahi, I feel happy when I hear about a just judge, even though I don't have any case there. I feel happy when I know about rain coming to some town, even though I don't have any farm in there. And I feel happy when I understand one verse in Quran, and I would like everyone else to understand it the same way, or to understand it. That's what a Muslim is concerned. And part of our concern in this country, 50% of Muslims, as of today, are native born. We are the fastest growing religion. We are increasing. We were one masjid in town, became 5 masajid in a few years. In New York Times, a few days ago, there was an article titled, Muslims are coming. It's very intimidating. I hope that man never wrote that title. You know why he wrote that? Because 2016, 10 Muslims applied to run for office. This year, 2018, 100. You know why? Because they found that, they understood that if they don't stand up together, we will not have our rights preserved. We don't lack numbers. We just lack activism, engaging, strategic planning maybe. As a masjid, we're not partisan, and we never tell you who to vote for, but we say, please go vote. And you don't vote for somebody because he's your, and that's my personal opinion, he's your color or your faith, but because he or she holds up the values you hold, and because he or she will make sure that your rights will be maintained. And he or she many times have other values that we as Muslims and our text, our Quran, our Sunnah do not approve of. So when we support, and that's the most important, our values are not blurred. We're very clear. We are for justice, for equal opportunity, for equity, for human rights, for civil rights, for what we all agree on. But if there are things that clear cut against values in my faith, I don't have to make people believe in what I believe in, but at least I will just step aside in this. And I'll be very clear there. I'm wholeheartedly for all these tasks, but I might not be very clear. I might not be here for this one. So, even if you don't agree on many things there, that's not an excuse to sit aside and leave it all together. I ask my brothers and sisters this coming Tuesday to go vote. I ask my sisters to line up with their beautiful Muslim dress, woman Muslim dress, because you're more visible than us. Send a message everywhere. Wallahi, if you're not a voter, just go volunteer. Just go line up. Just go stand there. Give a message to everyone want to run for office in this town that we care, that we can make difference, that we can re-elect, and we can deprive someone from going to office again if he or she stand against our rights as American Muslims. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا، اللهم تجاوز عن سيئاتنا، اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اغفر لوالدينا، رب ارحمهم كما ربونا صغارا. اللهم بارك في ذرياتنا، اللهم بارك في ذرياتنا. اللهم احفظنا بالإسلام قائمين، واحفظنا بالإسلام قاعدين، واحفظنا بالإسلام راقدين، ولا تشمت بنا عدوا ولا حاسدا يا رب العالمين. اللهم إن أردت بالناس فتنة فردنا إليك غير مفتونين ولا خزايا ولا نادمين. اللهم أحسن خاتمتنا في الأمور كلها. اللهم هون علينا سكرات الموت. اللهم وسع لنا في قبورنا. اللهم أدخلنا الجنة بغير حساب ولا سابقة عذاب. اللهم أدخلنا الجنة بغير حساب ولا سابقة عذاب. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان. اللهم احقن دماء إخوان المسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم عليك بمن تجبر على المستضعفين في كل مكان. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا.